Elipsis here, and today I want to talk about Epistory Typing Chronicles. This is a newer game that came out in 2016, and recently speedrunners have made serious efforts to reduce their times and discover new strategies. Speedrunning this game relies heavily on one's typing ability, and so I want to talk more about some of the recent discoveries and strategies that we've come up with after analyzing the game and doing some tests. Relative to the typing speed of the top runners, there's a significant amount of time that passes between first typing a word and the magic effects of that word going off. Let's demonstrate. Here we have the first enemy in the game. Notice you have to type 2 words in order to kill him. Notice the significant delay between typing the end of the word and the enemy actually being hit by the projectile. You can see the results, namely that it's 0.5 seconds from the first word and 0.8 seconds from the time of typing the second word to the time the projectile lands. This is actually a lot of time in terms of the abilities of the top runners to type additional things. Here's an example from a real run. Tyrannosaurus is the word that I have to type, but I have Spark selected. Spark won't do anything when there's only one enemy, so I type Tyrannosaurus and then quickly switch to Fire. This allows the fire effect to take place even though Spark was selected when the enemy had their name typed. This trick even works against special type enemies. As you're about to see in this clip, the enemies in blue can only be damaged by ice, but with the type switching trick, it's possible to damage them with fire and use the fire effect against them.
She bent the tide, she would never.
This behavior confirms what another runner, Villagen, has discovered by searching through the code. Mainly that there are 2 checks. The first check is done to see whether or not you can type the word. The second check is done to apply the currently selected effect only when the animation lands. Time between these 2 allows for type switching. Fire and ice only affect one enemy. Things get more complicated and confusing when we start looking at Spark, which affects not the enemy you strike it with, but nearby enemies. Epistory warns, Spark never leaps on an insect's last word. But this isn't exactly the truth. A better statement would be, Spark never leaps when the attack animation lands after the enemy has no words left to type. For cases where there's only one word, this is always true. The insect's last word will never cause Spark to go off. However, there are other cases where this can work for or against you. Let's look at those examples.
She could heal it.
In this example, Villagen manages to type both the tone and omega before either animation lands. Next, the attack hits the top enemy. Because Spark takes a moment to leap, the attack also hits the bottom enemy before it is hit by the leap from the top attack. The result is a glorious leap both ways, and 4 words knocked out by typing 2. Let's look at another example. In the clip I'm about to start, the Spark effect will fail to leap even though the word typed was not the enemy's last word. So let's break this down. First I type a state. You'll notice that the animation lands, but the Spark does not leap before I finish typing vague. However, just a few frames later, the Spark does leap, destroying the second word, south. However, even though the word that I typed was not the last word, by the time the attack animation lands, the enemy is long dead, so Spark does not leap. Sadly, this means that it is also possible for your own very fast typing to cancel your Spark leaps. So watch the timing here. Did you see what happened there? I finished typing Sigma, and 0.7 seconds later, I finished typing March. However, it's not till 0.9 seconds later that the attack animation lands. This causes Spark to fail to leap for both the first and second hit. So that about does it for my video summarizing Epistory's elemental attack behaviors, and I hope the visual demonstrations were helpful. Now that the community has discovered that adaptive difficulty can go well beyond insane, it's going to require extensive skill and understanding of the game's code, type switching tricks, Spark timing, and overall optimal target selection before even top-level players can consistently survive situations like this.
Sands rose around us.
Thanks for watching.